Welcome back to the Hockey Hub, guys, as we show you a list, just 5, but the NHL Network put out their top 20 wings of the season. And as you can see, David Pastrnak, number 2 on that list, behind Nikita Kucherov, then Kirill Kaprizov, Mitch Marner, Mikko Rantanen, and the list does go on. Brick, your thoughts with David Pastrnak being number 2? I think tough to beat Nikita Kucherov.
Yeah, Kucherov is
clear number 1.
Special play. Yeah, I love watching him play.
Yeah.
I wish we get to play Tampa more often than we do, and I'd love to get them in the playoffs because now you get them, 7 games in a row potentially. But what I like about this list, Sophia, is usually when you talk about wings, no matter how good they are, like a Bossy or an Ovechkin, they were finishers. They were goal scorers. And those 5 guys right there, they drive the offense no matter what line they're on. And that's pretty good. And they're basically all right wingers when you look at that list, even those, a handful of them are left-handed shots. But they have the ability to create. And Pastrnak sliding up to number 2, it really had a lot to do with his playmaking ability with the 71 helpers.
Yes.
I would love him to be a 40-goal man.
Yes.
But I want the 71 helpers to go along with the 40 goals. And maybe that's a little too much of an ask. But no, I'm impressed by their ability to make plays when they're a focal point of how you're going to defend, yet they're still able to produce. That means they drive the offense of those lines. And I think they're special players to watch. And they can create their own offense. They can beat you one-on-one. But the best ones incorporate the other 4 players on the ice with them, and they maximize what they do with puck possession and offensive creativity, and that's an impressive list.
Listen, you did mention, why don't we finish the show there with David Pastrnak, his playmaking ability this year that was talked about over the last couple of seasons, but sure, we'd love to see him get 40, 50 again in a year. Is that unrealistic based on his skill level, his contract, and what he's getting paid to produce 110 points and 40 of them be goals?
He can get to the 40-goal plateau if he scores on the power play. If his power play numbers are down, he won't get there. The Bruins aren't built to be dominant in the middle of the ice with their centermen. Their quality, and you're here, that guy Donnie Sweeney?
Yes.
He'll tell you, they got the job done by committee at the center ice position last year. They don't have dominant centers. They don't have Bergeron, Krejci in the middle anymore, and that's old news. So it's hard to get to 40 if you're Pastrnak when you don't have that strength down the middle. He was really good with Pastrnak. He was really good with Zacha. That's a nice little combination.
Yes.
The idea was Lindholm was going to play there. That hasn't happened. But Pastrnak, to get to 40, he's got to score in a power play.
Yeah, that's a good point. The power play, which we're obviously going to get a look at when training camp starts in September. Brick, we've got a minute left. Marco Sturm last year, first season with the Bruins. Nikita Zadorov was one of the players who said, hey, probably one of the best training camps I have had. I hope we see that again this season. Driving a tough training camp and know that you're going to have more practice time. And as Marco Sturm said at the end of a season presser, the expectation was random. We didn't know what we were going to get. Now that the Bruins have made the postseason and had a 100-point season, the expectation's even higher, and you got to live up to it.
Well, we talked about it early in the show, and I told you these first 2 weeks in August, I don't think a lot about hockey. I'm glad to be here doing the podcast and talking hockey with you, and the Bruins are good subject matter. When I think about training camp, I think about last year, and one of the best developments of this Bruins team and organization last year was the relationship created between head coach and the team. And I think that had a huge impact on them getting the results they got a year ago. And it all starts in training camp, and it's a reset. And Marco mentioned that at the end of the year. We accomplished some great things. We didn't do what we wanted to do in the postseason, and guys had great years. But next year, we start from zero. It's a reset, and that's the expectation going into the game.